Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Naiva Flory, and it is my honor to be here with you all as part of the Million Mom Movement Council. My name is Naiva Flory, and I'm also joined by my amazing council members, Sherry Packard, Ashley Morales, Dominique Jeffries, and Grace C., as well as our autism council members, Anna Marie and Tirza Dawn, who are going to be leading an incredible presentation today as we do every third Friday of the month. Today, we are going to be focusing on how we can better take care of the caregivers because we all pour so much into our loved ones, and we want to make sure that you are taking good care of yourself as well. So, as caregivers, we always give so much of ourselves, and it's really time to remind you that you matter too. So we're excited for you to be joining us for this really uplifting presentation, really focused on you and how you can nurture your own well-being so that you can better care for those that you love. And so I would love to pass it over to my dear council member, Sherry, to read our pledge to us today.
Thank you, Naeva. I pledge to defend the health of myself and my family. I pledge to choose organic foods that are minimally processed and free of man-made ingredients. I pledge to read labels and educate myself on all aspects of clean living. I understand that my actions today will positively impact the health and environment of future generations. I am committed to sharing this movement of many. I am the Million Mom Movement.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And would you like to share a little bit about your passion with this movement?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, as a mom of three and a grandma of two, I can't think of anything more important than teaching them a healthy foundation, a healthy living, and a skill that I don't know that we perhaps needed a couple of decades ago, but becoming conscious consumers, like really understanding where our food's coming from, the choices that we make, and how we vote with our dollar. Also, how to learn how to read, just like the pledge says, learn how to read labels, right? And know exactly what we're putting into our system. So that's why I went into health coaching, was to help empower people to do just that. And so this is one of the many, many reasons why I love the Million Mom Movement, why when I first joined Purium, the Million Mom Movement calls were the one and only call that I made sure I attended every single week. And I would actually binge watch all of the other calls on YouTube for that very reason. It's such a wealth of information, and I love what it stands for. And to now be able to be a council member and help push this movement forward and help create that awareness on a platform that comes from such a loving place of strength and empowerment is really, really special to me.
Thank you so much, Sherry. And so, without further ado, I am so grateful to be about part of this council as well, and honored to be able to introduce these incredible women that are just so passionate about this movement and about helping more people that are dealing with everyday life. But some of us are really having the opportunity to have some gifted people in our life that, sometimes we forget to take care of ourselves because we're so busy taking care of those around us. And so it's really important to give back to ourselves. And they're going to be touching on this topic and about their passion, incredible leaders in our community. And so Anna Marie Sandoval is a mom of two vibrant daughters. She's also the proud wife of Dave Sandoval. She's the president of the Awaken Project Foundation. And Anna Marie comes from the background of working as a behavioral specialist for kids on the autism spectrum for over a decade now. She loves teaching and learning from children, and it's one of her greatest passions. She's devoted to the mission of healing for families and the rising of knowledge in the neurodiverse community and advocating and supporting beings to reach their highest potentials through holistic health. And so she's going to be sharing her passion today. And she's also joined by Tirza Dawn, who has spent over 30 years as an environmental activist, a cultural creative, special needs advocate, and community organizer. She's a mother of a 20-year-old son on the spectrum, and as a profession and spiritual path is a yogi and Ayurvedic practitioner who leads retreats and trainings. And back in 2017, Tirza teamed up with Dave Sandoval and Anna Marie Sandoval to create the Awaken Project. And the Awaken stands for Awakening the Wonders of Autistic Knowledge and Empowerment Now. So it's really an amazing movement. It's a nonprofit organization dedicated to families with autistic children. Awaken produces week-long retreats to families with autistic children. And Tirza also serves on the board of the Awaken as the executive director, coming from the experience of being a primary advocate and caregiver for her 20-year-old son who is deeply impacted by autism. So most importantly, Tirza is a mother to a wonderful son and a daughter and the extended community of kids and teens in her community, and is super passionate about supporting other parents to care for themselves, as she knows firsthand what it's like to not have the support and care in her community and for herself. And so I want to go ahead and pass it over to Anna Marie so she can go ahead and lead us. And I'm so excited for this presentation. Thanks for being here, Anna Marie.
Oh, thank you so much for that amazing introduction and for welcoming us that way. It is really such an honor to get to be able to speak to all of you guys and to get to share what is on my mind and heart today. This subject is really, really dear and near to Tirza and I's hearts. And it really has a lot to do with the heart of the Awaken Project. And I'll share more into that about how it led to that. But first, I just want to share, just a gratitude to these sacred superfoods. I see them as, and the way that they can provide for the caregivers, giving to such special spirits, and the way they can provide for those spirits too, and the way they can provide in not just nourishing the body, but nourishing their environment through a lot of different forms of abundance. And so, really, the reason why this is so near and dear to me is because, as you heard in my bio, I was working as a behavior specialist for a really long time. And I was really noticing the extreme depletion that so many parents were going through. And I started out my journey with autism as a caregiver for Tirza's children. And she taught me so much about health and nutrition. And it was really beautiful to get to learn all of things that she was teaching me. But there was so much knowledge, it felt like I couldn't possibly give it all to these different parents who weren't aware or didn't have any access to certain nutritions and were obviously really needing some support in their day-to-day lives. And then as time went on, Tears and I became a team and really supported her children together and supported each other together and leaned on each other in so many ways. Tirza discovered Purium, and it was because she was becoming so depleted, giving so much. And although she had a so much knowledge that she was giving to me, and some I didn't even know about, I was just in awe of everything she could pour out of her brain with the nutrition awareness. But when we found Purium, it was like this simple gift that she could pour into her body right away, that she could just shake something up and have water and have it on hand for both her and for the kids. And I took to notice that she was drinking it, but it didn't really mean too much to me because I hadn't really made my green movement yet in my life. And it wasn't until I got really depleted and I came to Tirza and I was like on my knees saying, Sister, what's going on? I'm losing my hair. I'm doing all the things I'm trying to do to find center and balance and bring myself to a good place. But I'm just weak and out of my high vibrations. And I feel like I'm on ground zero inside of my physical body. And my nervous system was really wrecked. And I had an extreme loss of appetite. So I was losing a lot of weight. I just didn't have any patience. And I could feel it affecting my work with the children I was working with, that I was emanating a crunchy, uncomfortable in myself energy. And it was affecting the connection that I was having with the kids that I worked for, that usually felt a softness and a patience and a much more nourished being. So, anyways, Tirza said to me, Girl, it's this. You just got to try this green shake. And I guzzled down the first green shake she gave me. She said, "Here, just try it." And as soon as I drank it, I was like, I could drink this every day. This is all you think I need to do is just drink this? You think this is it?" And she said, "Yeah, I really just try it out for a little bit, and let's see what happens." So I started drinking the green shake. She was such a sweetheart. She gave me her product. She didn't, wasn't like really trying to share it with me on a level of sales or anything. She just really wanted to help my body. So she gave me her product, and I started drinking it, and I really did notice a difference within just a few days. So I said, "Hey, so how I don't want to just like be taking all your stuff. What's the deal? Like how what's working with this?" And so Tirza explained it to me, and she introduced me to her upline, and it was a history from there. And once I discovered, though, the power of what this could do for the body, I went through a complete transformation myself, and just really renewed myself. And my whole family, my best friends, were all asking me what I had done to kind of make a turnaround for myself, because they had all noticed also the shift of like lower level vibration that I was riding on before. And once I discovered what it could do for me, I was obviously bringing my green shakes to work every day to with all of the kids that I was working with. And the kids were really interested in what I was drinking, because I wasn't trying to like get them to drink it. I was just drinking it solidly throughout the day. And it's a beautiful green color. It's vibrant. And again, that energy, right? We all can feel energy, but people on the spectrum, or people who are neurodivergent, that is one of their ways of really feeling people the most. They might not have their words yet. They might not be able to receive all of your words in the exact way that you're sending them, but energy is what they can read. And I could tell that children could feel that when I was drinking this, I was on a higher vibration. I was thriving and I was connecting to them. My heart was becoming more open to what energy they wanted me to hear and know. And it was no brainer for me that this was something that needed to be in the lives of parents, so that their energies. So as I had noticed, like I was saying, that the number one thing I noticed in families was the depletion that parents were suffering with, because they were giving so much to their children that there wasn't an ounce left for themselves. And even if there isn't ounce left, there's not a second left for themselves to use that ounce of energy. And so it became a really big mission in my heart to start to try to bring the green shakes, the superfoods, to families, to parents, and then to their kids, so they could also receive the nourishment. At that time, I wasn't quite as aware of the biological points of everything that was in the green shake that could really provide for a neurodivergent person, or biomedic hadn't come out yet then either. A lot of our really profound products that are super great resources and super powered tools for bodies on the spectrum weren't even available yet. It was just the core three, I think, is what we had. And even just that was phenomenal, I could see. So I'm not want to take too much time. It's like I said, time is limited. So fast forward, I was on a deep mission to either start a school where I was able to just supply kids with the Purium nutrition throughout their days, instead of providing whatever juices or things that typical preschools and daycares provide. I wanted to give superfoods and, share the knowledge, have parent nights with parents and share the knowledge about superfoods and what it could do for them, what it could do for their children. And fast forward, even forward to that, as Tirza and I evolved in our transformations with our own experiences with Purium, we really got the blessing to birth the Awaken Project. And the entire point of the Awaken Project was to serve not just our magnificent children who are neurodivergent, but to support their parents, to give them a space and a sacred haven where they could nourish themselves and teach them how to nourish themselves with superfoods, because we want to see this beautiful cycle, right? And we all know that we can't fill from an empty cup, but it can be rather difficult to fill a cup when you are a um, soul missionary in service, trying to give all that you have to your beloveds and to the great spirits that are calling for that with you. And so we need to be able to have this ease of access so it can be simple and accessible. And I just think it is one of the greatest gifts for caregivers, for the beings that they're caring for, because it's an energetic cycle. And these superfoods, I do call them sacred superfoods, because they change and shift our energetic level of being, our vibration that we bring to the world. And if you're a caregiver, your vibration is so important and sacred as well. And you need to be feeding the sacred with sacred. You can't just be feeding toxic things to a sacred space. So I'm going to let Tirza take it from here, because I've been really talking a lot, but I hope that it is heard and seen the magnificent miracle of what superfoods can be for caregivers and the ones that they give their love to.
Wow, Anna Marie, thank you so much. That was just, can everybody maybe just put a thumbs up or a heart or something right now on your screen, just if you can relate to some of what Anna Marie was just sharing, if you can, if you're a caregiver yourself and maybe understand some of what she was just sharing. Yeah, yeah, or in the chat if you want to put something of what you've been experiencing too. That was just really beautifully put, Anna Marie. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, sister, for you. Thanks for
Yeah.
this offering you brought to my life.
Yeah, well, I'm just so, I mean, I'm grateful that we're all here right now because I know that this is the Million Mom movement. And to me, what that means is it is about caregiving. It is about being in service in so many ways. And that's being a leader, a servant leader is what we all are. And what that means is to be able to step forward and care for the people in our lives and the world really is what it boils down to, is caring for the world in a way that creates joy, creates peace, creates health, and it's a warrior path. It's not an easy path. And so I just want to shout out also to Anna Marie is one of those very rare types of people who come into our lives, and some of you on this call may be caring for an autistic person right now, and I think you know what I mean when I say it is rare to have other caregivers besides yourself come in as Anna Marie did into our lives, who actually really are so deeply devoted that she was, you know, losing hair and losing sleep and becoming depleted because she was so deeply devoted to her clients. Um, and so for me, it was like, of course I needed to share Purium with her. Of course I needed to take Purium myself. Of course I needed to share it with as many of the other parents and caregivers that I knew so that we could all raise up in our vibration. Because it's one thing, right? We all know it's one thing whether you have a neurotypical child or a special child, special needs child. It's one thing when we're kind of dredging through the day from one task to another, and we're like, okay, I can get through this. I'm going to cook the thing and make sure they're safe. And you're just kind of like, barely getting through it and just doing the motions. And it's another thing when we have enough support and enough energy, positive energy, that we can actually be engaged with the people that we're caring for, that we can actually have a level of vibrancy and to share with them so that they see that and feel that and know that, which was what Anna Maria was touching upon. So yeah, I don't know if I can even express the gratitude that I feel for the people who brought Purium to me at a time when I was really completely depleted. And the difference is, you know, yes, I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner. Yes, I'm a yogi. Yes, I have studied nutrition and health for a long, long time, and I have all these skills. And many of you on here, I feel, are probably healers of one degree or another, and we have all these skills. And still and yet, if we don't have these kinds of superfoods in our lives, it's an uphill battle in a really, really big way. So when Purium came to me, the aminos, first of all, the amino acids really did save my life. Like I really do feel like I would have gone downhill into some kind of crazy illness if those hadn't come to me, because that was an immediate, it immediately shifted my energy level. It immediately gave me this kind of this oomph to back me up. And then of course the shake, the green shake specifically, was huge for me to be able to just shake that up and drink it anytime during the day, anytime I was feeling that slump, instead of doing what I used to do, even being an Ayurvedic practitioner and even knowing better, grab a piece of toast, grab a cracker, grab a like anything, because I would often just go hours and hours without eating anything, because caring for an autistic child is a lot, and you don't get to stop and eat. And caring for children in general is a lot, as we all know. You don't necessarily get to stop and eat or pee or drink a glass of water. So we're really grateful for that. And then I guess I would just add, um, about Awaken. And I know Awaken, we've been on a little bit of a hiatus because Anna Marie is having her beautiful children and we're needing to do some infrastructure changes and such. But truly the 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 coming together of Anna Marie and I, and then Dave and Purium, was really and continues to be this potent, miraculous combination of offerings that is really targeting this deep depletion that our caregivers experience. And I've also on the side been able to do caregivers, like day-long caregivers retreats. And if I could see anything change in our world, it would be more of this, more Awaken projects, more caregivers retreats, because it's really the way that our children will be able to be raised in a more balanced way. And also just culturally, that if our culture, if our society, if our world can start viewing caregivers as superheroes and start shifting priorities and focuses towards uplifting financially and otherwise our caregivers, so that the people who are marginalized, people who are disabled, people who are having a harder time in life, can also be uplifted beautifully. And in this way, all of us rise up. So I don't know what time it is now, but that would be what I would like to share right now. I'm not sure if we need to open it up for questions yet, or if somebody else wanted to speak.
Thank you so much, Tirza and Anna Marie. What a beautiful share. And I love getting to hear where it kind of started for you all and how this really has impacted your lives and given you a way to just take a deep breath, right? Sit back and actually take care of yourself for a moment and give you something so simple to implement into your life and then be able to share that gift with others. And your passion is incredible. I love hearing both of your passion of just what this journey has brought you on, how this has really impacted your life, and then how passionate you are about helping others have access to this incredible level of nutrition to just have better energy and better mood and more level-headedness throughout your days as you're navigating any situation, like you said, right? Whether it doesn't matter, any kind of caregiver that you find yourself being in that position, we have to take care of ourselves so that we can actually pour from a full cup and not an empty cup, right? And so I just love your passion. And before we take any questions, I see some hands up and we'll take questions in a minute. But Anna Marie, is there anything else that you wanted to share?
Yeah, I just very much gratitude, and yes, we can't pour from an empty cup, and it's important what's in your cup. It should be superfoods. You need superfoods, fill it up to really reach all the goals and the dreams and the beings and the hearts that we want to reach.
Incredible. Are you ladies ready to take some questions, or is there anything else that you want to share on this topic before we take some questions? We still have plenty of time.
I'm ready for questions.
Yeah, I
Well-
could go on and on, but I would love to hear what people are thinking, and not just questions, but comments. I'd love to hear what
Yeah.
people are thinking. Yeah.
Wonderful. So yeah, I have a few hands raised. If anybody else has questions or comments, just go ahead and raise your hand virtually, and we'll go ahead and bring you on in the order I see on my screen. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, Galen and Deborah. Thank you for being here.
Okay, sorry about that. I came on my screen again, so I remuted. Okay, I'm sorry the camera's not on. I'm sitting in the sun. I'm trying to get in some vitamin D, so I have my shirt kind of off. But I love this. It's so I love gosh, I'm sorry, my brain, the speakers that told how they felt, and so vulnerable, and how we need help. I am a caregiver, not of someone autistic, and honestly, I never realized how much work or difficult it is caring for someone with special needs. But I am a caregiver for my husband, and I'm just glad that I got on the program, and I think I'm going to do a thing on Instagram because I know other people that are caregivers or have been, and you really do need the help of the superfoods, because like it just helped my mood. Like she said, the energy that we give off. Once I started on I just started on the shake and the super. I wasn't even taking the super, mostly just the shake, and I was waking up almost dancing to take care of my husband. And I had a lot of anxiety over all that had gone on before that, and just to feel that good, that I felt like, and to be honest, I have a song playing in my head and I feel like dancing all the time. I feel like that is from the superfoods, and I'm very thankful for Dave for making them, and thank you guys for this. I really learned a lot, and everyone on here is so compassionate and caring, and it just really makes my heart feel good. That's all.
Thank you so much for sharing, Deborah. We can feel your passion, your heart, and I'm so glad that you have these superfoods to support you.
And you're not alone. You're not alone. There's so many people out there caring for their husbands, their wives, their children, I mean, it's, yeah, we're with you.
I see, Martha, you have your hand up. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Teresa and Anna Marie, for doing this every third Friday. I really appreciate it. I love that this is actually a topic to be spoken on nowadays. I know that, with family history, and it's always been classified as one thing or another. And I really believe that autism, it can be generational. And I wasn't diagnosed being on the spectrum until like later on on in my life. And then I thought to myself, well, maybe I taught my son, all these mechanisms and stuff. And he's on the spectrum. I have family members on the spectrum. And, you know, learning how to be a mother, being a mother, and I really, really had wished, and I think back and I don't like kick myself in the pants anymore about it, but I know without a shadow of a doubt my interaction with my son as he was growing up. Now, we went through play therapy together. We went through different forms of counseling together to learn how to communicate better with one another. These foods are so I can better communicate with myself. My whole mindset on the way I am, who I am as a person has changed. I have a lot more patience with myself. So therefore, I have a lot more patience in general. So caring for yourself, having these sacred superfoods and understanding that you are what you eat. The quality of life that you live equals the quality of food that you put in. And simply put, my quality of communication, being able to express myself, being able to communicate clearer has grown leaps and bounds as an adult on the spectrum. And then having that interaction, I've always been very empathetic and very out there and very caring, but I've always poured from an empty cup, which has left me so depleted and feeling negative about myself. And I don't have that feeling anymore. I don't have that feeling anymore. And I love it.
Yay.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that, Martha. So inspiring. I'm so glad that we have these superfoods as a tool to support us.
Thank you for being vulnerable to Martha and being able to share that you've discovered being on the spectrum yourself as an older adult. And, one thing we say at the Awaken Project is that everyone is on the spectrum because we all truly do have special needs in one way or another. And it's really what makes us human, so it's a beautiful thing.
I see Dominique has her hand up. Hi, Dominique.
Hey, yeah, I just wanted to just acknowledge you, Anna Marie and Tirza. I learned so much from both of you on these calls because I don't have anyone that I'm connected to directly that is on the spectrum, but just having the awareness and the knowledge, it also just allows me to think about, how I'm taking care of myself also and just how I can be more patient, with myself. But just on the topic of caregiving, I grew up watching my grandparents deteriorate from Alzheimer's and heart disease and cancer. And my mom was the caregiver to her mom and her dad. And I remember she was unbelievably stressed all the time. And I usually got the brunt of that emotionally because she didn't have the tools to be able to take care of herself. And her only focus was, just trying her best as she could to provide for my grandparents. And years later, she ended up getting diagnosed with an autoimmune condition. And I truly do believe that a lot of autoimmune is linked to an emotional just connection where we're not really taking care of ourselves, right? We're putting everyone else ahead of us. And so I'm so grateful because now I've been a part of Purium for 5 years and I've been able to introduce these superfoods to her lifestyle. And actually just recently, about a year ago, my aunt passed away from dementia and my mom was also caregiving to her. And I remember one day I went home and she was like rushing to leave out of the house to go take care of her. And she had like a slight headache and she was like, oh, I'll just eat when I get there or something. I was like, Mom, why don't you just make a power shake really quick? Like, let's drink that before you leave the house. And when she got there, she was like, oh my God, I just feel so much calmer. Like I feel grounded now so that I can really, pour into her and support her the way that she needs to be. So just something as simple, as convenient, as easy, as mindless, as these foods, the core four is just such an incredible foundation that everyone needs, but especially people who are pouring into their children, their parents, their loved ones that really need it. So I'm just really grateful for this resource and, want to be able to help more caregivers have this as, at their fingertips. So thank you.
Wow, Dominique, so beautifully said, so deep. That your mom, what a warrior, right? Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to not comment every time somebody comments, but I just respect where people are coming from so much, thank you so much for that.
Absolutely. I love that you're commenting, Tirza. I think it's great to have the feedback and hear your voice. And you have so much to share as well, having lived through, being depleted and being a caregiver of your son and, knowing what it's like to not have the superfoods and then have these in your life is so impactful. And I love having you comment. Mari, I see you have your hand up. I'm going to go ahead and unmute you.
Thank you. What a wonderful call, everyone, Anna Marie and everyone that share. I do, as I mentioned, I do have a 3-year-old grandson, and little by little, I've been helping his parents, my son and his wife, about the importance of keeping him in the superfoods, and he really loves it, and giving him more superfoods. I mean, organic, whole foods, and they're getting better, staying away from processed food and all that junk that is out there. And I do have a question regarding he goes to a school that it's to help him, just like Anna Marie said, that for behavior specialists, that he goes to school every day. I already contact them. Is there a way I need help with a good way? I already got their email, because I go there and it breaks my heart. My grandson, he's a very and very low on the spectrum. All he needs is for speech therapy. But there's so many kids in there that it breaks my heart when I go there, and I want to bring awareness. I want to send them an email. I want to send them this recording, because the parents need to know that they need to get them in the superfoods. And there's two little, right in my area here, there's two little academies with kids that are in the they need this. So is there any email or any suggestions that I can reach out to these communities? Thank you.
Mari, I love
Wow, thank you.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
No, go
You go,
ahead.
Tirza, you go.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say thank you so much for that beautiful share, and thank you, Dominique, too, for your beautiful. Thank you, everybody, for your beautiful shares. They're really touching my heart, and wow, that is so beautiful to hear you and your heart and wanting to help the children that you're seeing at your grandson's school, and to bring the awareness to the parents. It's really so important and so heartfelt that that's where your brain and heart is going. And yes, there are ways that we could reach out to them. If you want to reach out to your direct upline, and maybe I could put my email in the link as well, and we can work together on ways that we could bring that to the school, and like what kinds of products specifically and stuff. Give me 1 second. Tears might go on. I'm gonna go on mute for.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I think Anna Marie covered that, but I'm really glad that you're there. My mom, of course, my son's grandmother was and is such a huge advocate for my son, and I don't know what I would have done without my mother on this journey. So thank you so much for being there for your children and grandchildren. It's really important.
Grandma is
Absolutely.
such the angels and heroes. Yeah. Tears' mom was huge for her children's life, and my mom is too. And we can tell that you are too for your grandkids and your son or daughter, whoever it is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mari, for your share and for your passion and, helping to take care of your grandson, but also wanting to help more people in the schools, because we know that, the schools are so limited in their resources or their ability to really truly help those that need this type of support. A lot of them have limited resources for nutrition, and they're, giving kids, even at my own son's school, I get frustrated because they have, a little snack shop where people can go buy things, and there's nothing healthy in there for our children. And it's often a lot of things that I would never even high for my son. And so I'm so happy that we have people that are wanting to advocate in the schools. Each and every one of us is an advocate for our families and our children and those around us, even if we don't have children, you know, as caregivers, it is really important that we go out and share resources. And so I just want to remind everybody that, you know, this replay will be on YouTube, and we have so many other prior replays with similar presentations and testimonials and stories that are shared that can be found on our YouTube channel, and to use those resources and find the appropriate one for the person that you're talking to and share some of those resources with them. And so we do have, you know, lots of resources for you all, and I love that we're all here discussing this and sharing what we have available. And so thank you so much, Mari, for everything that you're doing, and definitely connect with Anna Marie so you can get some additional support and to help communicate with the school and hopefully get some resources to them. We did also create a little flip book on Canva a couple months back that we can share towards the end of this call. And that is also a really great resource for you to have on hand so that you have some tools just right on hand and something that you can also share with your community. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute Angie. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much. This is really truly close to my heart, not only on the spectrum, but also with mental health. So, and in caregiving, and I put it on the chat, I felt like my son was my giver, because he gave all he could. And back in the day, they didn't diagnose, they did not know how to deal and how to help. I'm grateful that in my community, not only do we have for mental illness, we have the NAMI, we have a lot of support for the autism. We're educating educators, parents, grandparents, me as a great grandma. We are speaking loud and clear, and it's a real strong community. They are able, with this organization, they're able to supply almost every child that would like and can't afford iPads, tools, one-on-one resources. There's a volunteer, such as myself, we volunteer to help. My major in psychology and in mental health has helped not only to help the parents, but also the child. You know, when you start younger, it actually helps. My grandson started from, we started him very young in little simple tasks, and now he's thriving at 13, 14. So it's just a matter of really getting in and being involved and being heard. So I really appreciate this format, and you guys have very you have a loud voice. Thank you so much. I wish my son was here to share how difficult it was when he was young than when he was much older.
Well, thank you, Angie. God bless you, and God bless your son too. And I really appreciate you bringing up mental health as a larger topic, because that's huge and an important one that we open our hearts and minds to work together. And caregiving is often has to do with mental health, and caregivers have to deal with certain aspects of mental health, especially around depression, anxiety. One of the things that I feel like caregivers deal with, especially around autism, is isolation. And so when you're speaking about being able to me, what you're speaking about speaks to breaking away from isolation and coming forward and creating bridges and being able to be in communities, stepping forward to support one another. And I actually think in some ways Purium is a really good platform for that, because it's a bridge that you can talk to so many different people of all different backgrounds, of all different life experiences, of all different health issues, of all different, you know, lifestyles, and be able to come together and say, okay, how do we support each other in this crazy world? How do we support each other in the midst of toxicity all around us? And then in that way, it draws us out from that isolation that happens with mental health and with caregiving. Thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you so much. Sherry, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute.
Thank you. So first, I just want to say that I really, really enjoyed learning the connection between you, Tirza, and you, Anna Marie, how you guys came together to collaborate and do the amazing work that you're now doing together. There's always a story, there's a journey, and sometimes along the way it can feel like, oh, it's such a coincidence that we worked together or that we met, and it's like, no, there's no coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidence. I truly believe that, in a case like this, you were meant to come together because there was work for you to do together. And the part that stands out the most to me, apart from that, is just here's how you were able to recognize in Anna Marie what she needed, because most likely, and from what I heard you saying, was that, you had been there, you were in that place, and so you knew, and so you could recognize it in Anna Marie, and you were able to share that with her, which I think a lot of us, I know that I'll speak for myself, but so often I see something in someone that, resonates, and I want to help them. And then it's just being able to cross that threshold from really wanting to help to actually finding the words, and taking that leap in, that dive in, and trusting that, the words will flow in the right way, and you won't be, coming off, I don't know, it won't be coming off in a way that the person might not well receive it. So that's just incredible to me that, you were able to kind of get out of your own way and just, flow and recognize something and be able to share something that clearly, was exactly what was needed at the time. So I just want to say that I love these calls. Thank you both so much for coming on the council every third week and sharing your incredible knowledge. I resonate with this call on a personal level. The caregiver part speaks to me on so many different levels. I'm listening to all the comments. Dominique, what you were saying about your mom and how you watched her be a caregiver and not take care of herself, that resonated really deeply for me, because I watched my mom in that same role for many, many years. She was caregiver to both her parents, also to my dad's parents, while working a full-time job, while taking care of us. And she really felt like she was invincible, and that she could do it all. And I think that so many of us resonate with that thought process, or you don't know how you're going to do it, but you just do it, right? And she really neglected her health along the way. And unfortunately, it got to a point where some of the effects of that, of being a caregiver and not taking the time for herself as well, really did wreak havoc on her health, that she hasn't been able to reverse or come away from. And what you were saying, Dominique, about autoimmune conditions, spot on. Can I tell you how spot on that is? Because my mom has several autoimmune conditions, including multiple sclerosis now. And, now she's on these amazing superfoods, and now she's doing really, really well. But to have watched all of that happen, at first, I think I internalized that as that's what you're supposed to do growing up, watching her being so selfless, but to a default. It was the default part that I didn't catch when I was younger, right? I didn't truly understand that aspect of it. And so when I became a stepmom to my daughter, most people don't know that part of my story, is that my daughter had several diagnoses herself, and I stepped into the role of her mom at the age of 19. So I was really young myself, kind of still learning about the world. And her diagnosis, one of which was reactive attachment disorder, took a really large chunk out of me as her caregiver. I became her primary caregiver, and there was a lot of dark years there, a lot of intense therapy, and just all day, every single day. And I didn't take care of myself. I didn't even know to take care of myself. I didn't know that was part of the equation, right? And then fast forward to when my son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, I was already in school to be a holistic nutrition and health coach. And yet I saw how easy it was for me to slip really back into that mentality of my meal will wait, my sleep will wait, and really just want to give selflessly to him. But thankfully by then I did have that, I was able to pull from the knowledge I was learning and recognize that that wasn't going to help him in the long run, because if I can't, if I'm not 100%, then how can I give 100% or more that I wanted to for him? So I think where caregiving is concerned, it's something that I don't think we can talk about enough. I don't think we can share about enough. And these amazing superfoods, I wish they were there for me, through those years. And while I'm wishing for things, I wish they had been there for my mom for, those years all the way back when, because I think the outcomes would have been very different. But what, all we can do is take the knowledge that we have now moving forward, and share it and let people know how important it is to put our oxygen masks on before, we do for our loved ones that we're caring for, no matter the specifics and the situation. So just what I wanted to share.
Thank you so much, Sherry, for sharing your passion. And I don't think we all know everything about our stories. There's so many levels of our stories. And, you started really young as a young mom and caregiver, and having to navigate all the things and, not having this solution at your fingertips to help support you through that. And now being able to share your story and help empower others to really have this tool to take care of themselves. And so thank you so much for hopping on and sharing. And I want to go ahead and see if Grace would like to come and share. I see your hands up.
Okay, there we go. That mute thing is tricky. Hi, everybody. Terza, Anna Marie, thank you so much. Terza, something that you said that really stood out to me is, about the quality of connection. So, there's the way that we just do each next thing to get through the day. And then there's actually being able to connect with and have a relationship and have a depth of quality with those who we are caring for and who are in our life. My story is that I became a mom at the age of 42, a first-time mom, and I was perimenopausal and postpartum simultaneously. And I had wanted to be a mom like my entire life. That was like my big story. And when my daughter was 2, I was so depleted that every day I would just crash at like 3 o'clock. And I remember finding myself in this repetitive thing of telling my daughter that I couldn't play with her at 2. Just like continually like, oh, I don't have the energy. Oh, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And that's when these superfoods came in my life and just tremendously changed the landscape of my relationship with my daughter. And still to this day, she's 11. There was a period where I was just going through a bunch of grief, and I wasn't really working my Purium business. I was sort of taking my superfoods, but not really. And she came to me and just said, like, Mom, I really feel like you need to be doing Purium. You need to be doing your Purium. And she is just such an advocate for me and reminds me when I'm like not on top of my game, like to get my superfoods in my body. So I just wanted to thank you for really naming that piece around the difference between just getting through the day, getting to each next task, or being able to actually be relating with and building upon our connection. So thank you both so much, and everybody who shared. I really love that more frequently tears are coming through on our Zooms. It just makes me feel like we're creating a really beautiful, authentic space, and that we're all feeling safe to come together and work these pieces out. So with that, I'll stop. Thanks, everybody.
Wow, Grace, thank you. That share, like, I don't know if you saw, literally had me jaw dropped.
Yeah.
And bravo as a mom that you even introduced that to your daughter, for her to think this is what I should give mom to help her. Like, right? You taught her how that would be healing to you, and then you taught her how to be the person to be like, Mom, let me help you, let me take care of you. So wow, like bravo, mama. And your daughter is such a star. I mean, I'm yeah in awe of the two of you. So thank you for that really vulnerable share. It made my day.
Yeah, and it's good to hear a little about you too, Grace. I don't know your story so much, so it's really nice to learn more about you. Thank you.
Beautiful shares. And we just have a few more minutes till the top of the hour. We have a couple more hands up. So Tara Shea, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Hi, thank you for the warm welcome. I'm really excited to be more active and involved in some of these other extended Zooms, and I'm so appreciative to have this platform and Purium and everyone, the community. And I met Rachel almost 2 years ago, and this was definitely life changing. Like personally, it was like had headaches and migraines like for 4 days every month for over a decade. And last year I was able to go a few months without having one. And um, just my recovery time's cut in half. And I was already a real nerd for superfoods and detox. And so when I came across this company, it aligned with my values and the integrity and like the mission, and it's just wonderful. I notice the difference when I'm consistent versus not consistent with the protocol, and just being able to share it with everybody. And also, like growing up when I was a kid, I had a near-death experience, and so I was in special needs and all these different diagnoses. And it was 30 plus years ago, and it's just interesting on the progression of different um, labels and different stuff that's going on, and how much it's needed that detox and cross contaminations and our superfoods is so needed. The regenerative soil, regenerative health, and then having a community where we speak and we can support each other and make a difference in each other's lives. And um, how big nutrition and detox is such a point besides the mindset. And then someone mentioned about isolation, and that's the big deal, is that we're like tribal creatures and we need each other, and we're pushed in the society to be independent and do it on our own, and that's pretty much detrimental. So being able to come together. I'm very thankful. I'll kind of keep it short, but this has definitely been life changing. And also a nerd for quantum physics and psychology, and just whatever we can do about our mindset, our attitude, our perceptions, and our health. Mental health is overlooked, and it's emotional and mental health, spiritual health is such a key component. And I totally believe that the nutrition that we have or don't have in our lives can make a lot of a drastic improvement, instead of making excuses with having this or having that diagnosis or spectrum. That I feel for that. Every one of us are like on the spectrum. Like we all have special needs that need to be tended to, and to learn to develop that stronger relationship with ourselves, with spirit, with each other, being human, and that it's not discriminated against, but it's welcomed, and that we're encourage each other and educate and empower. So thank you very much. It's dear to my heart. And thank you, all of you, for us being able to grow this together.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and for being I feel your sweetness in all of what you just shared, and your dedication too. And like Grace said, it feels there's a beautiful warmth happening on this call right now, and it feels very supportive. I think we're getting it to the end of the call, so I'm not sure, Naeva, if you wanted to say any last words, or Anna Marie, if you had any last words you wanted to say. I'm really looking forward to continuing this with everyone every third Friday, to continue talks about subjects having to do with autism and nutrition, and many other things we'll be covering in the coming months.
my baby just fell asleep, but I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to all of those sharers. They've really filled up my heart and my cup today. And thank you, Sister Tirza, for the sacred superfoods you brought into my world and the way you changed my life, and for always taking care of me and your family and all the ones around you. And thank you, Sister Naiva, for holding space for this call every single Friday, for always showing up for this community and your community, the different communities that you hold so close to spirit and so close to heart and so close to home. I appreciate you. I appreciate this whole council. Dominique, Ashley, Grace, I know you're not on here. Sherry, everybody. Sorry if I'm forgetting names. I'm not a name person, I'm a face person. But I really treasure the love and effort and time that you're putting into this. I'm super grateful.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Anna Marie and Tirza, for really sharing your passion and love for this movement and for just helping us to take care of ourselves better and being able to pour from a full cup. And thank you to each and every one of you who came and shared your passion, your stories, asked questions. We really appreciate each and every one of you being a part of our community. And, each one of you makes us makes up the Million Mom movement, or the movement of many, because they want to be inclusive of everybody that is a caregiver and that is passionate about helping our families strive in health and wealth. And so I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Dominique. She's going to close us out with inviting you to join our community. And if this is your very first time coming on the Zoom, or somebody shared this replay with you, please reach back out to them and just thank them for caring enough to share this with you, and have a conversation about what you've learned and how inspired you are about what we're doing here in this community. And like Anna Marie said, join us every Friday. And I'm going to pass it over to you, Dominique, to close us out.
Yes, I know we got a lot of questions in the chat asking where they can find the replay, how they can join future calls. So go ahead and take a screenshot of this page if you can right now, but you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Naiva is incredible with uploading these replays as soon as possible so you can have this and share it with someone. And just like everyone here, right? We were all introduced to this opportunity because someone cared enough about us. So you can do the same by joining our movement, joining our calls every Friday. I know next Friday you can join us. We're going to cover family nutrition with Sherry. She's a holistic nutrition coach. And since it's the last week of February, we're going to continue with the theme of heart health and self-love and self-care. So I know she's going to highlight the connection between our heart, our mind, and our body. I'm just so excited for her call. I love every time Sherry shares. I just learn so much. I feel so much more connected to myself emotionally. So join us next Friday, same time, same Zoom link, and please bring someone with you so that we can share this blessing with them as well. So thank you all, and we will see you next week. Have a great